3 years of law school. Carlos was raised right here in Los Angeles, and he attended public school within LAUSD from kindergarten until high school. As a strong supporter and advocate of public education, he decided to attend UC Berkeley for his undergraduate education, where he majored in history and graduated cum laude. He then made the very wise decision to come back south to attend law school here at UCLA and to become a student within the David J. Epstein program in public interest law and policy, and has completed his public education entirely in California. During his time at UCLA Law School, Carlos was also the executive editor of the Chicano Latino Law Review, a member of the La Raza Law Students Association, and co-chair of El Centro's Legal Workers' Rights Project at Betsedic Legal Services. He also served as an extern for the Honorable Harry Pragerson with the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, as well as the National Labor Relations Board. In the fall, Carlos will be starting in the Los Angeles office of Weinberg, Roger & Rosenfeld, one of the nation's largest union-side labor law firms. And I'm very proud to say that I had the great pleasure of teaching Carlos too in his first year in an introductory class where he asked excellent questions and kept me on my toes. So Carlos, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Dean Mnuchin. I've never been introduced like that before. I wish I could bring you around everywhere I go whenever I need a confidence boost. I think I needed that after a week of finals and papers. Class of 2017, we made it. We survived the Hunger Games. Today, we celebrate surviving the first Hunger Games, only to be thrust into the second edition of the Games, AKA the California Bar Exam, or other states. Fun fact, if you look up lawyers on the California Bar website, you'll see that all LA lawyers are in District 2. Class, things have come full circle. Our journey as law students began right here on this very lawn, right around over there, crawling around awkwardly, blindfolded, and no, that isn't 50 Shades of Grey. Those were our icebreakers during orientation. And now, here we are, full circle. Now, many graduation speeches would talk about you as being the leaders of tomorrow. I disagree. You are the leaders of today. You worked on Supreme Court cases on behalf of the wrongly incarcerated. You advocated on behalf of veterans. You advocated on behalf of the victims of domestic violence. You worked to prosecute those that violate our laws. You mobilized hundreds of our classmates to provide legal services in the face of injustice. All of this while still in law school. You are no different than any other class before you. Since 1949, UCLA Law has counted among its alumni U.S. senators, professors, CEOs, entrepreneurs, mayors, executive directors of nonprofit organizations, partners at law firms, and more judges at the local, state, and federal level than I can count, including our very own Judge Watford. Go Bears and go Bruins. I had to. Many of you will reach those heights. When you reach those heights, remember two things. One, Bruins hire Bruins. Within the ethical confines, of course, because my moral character application is still pending, so everything has to be legit. And two, don't end up on the wrong side of above the law. No, really, that one is important. Before we got here, 3 years ago, UCLA was a very respectable number 17. That gets a golf clap. Today, 3 years later, UCLA is number 15. Real clap. Now, it's 10 credit for that. UCLA, who should take credit. The last 3 years have been proud to work alongside the talented women, plural, who lead this school. From our previous Dean, Rachel Moran, and Dean Laura Gomez, and currently Dean Jennifer Mnuchin, Dean Emily Scivoletto, Dean Eileen Scallon, and our classmate, SBA President Linda Zhang. Dean Mnuchin, I have no doubt that your leadership will continue to lead the school to even greater heights. I would also like to thank Dean Scivoletto and Tony Tolbert. This school would not be the same without you. You're both truly wonderful individuals, and we're lucky to have you guiding the way. Congratulations, the recipients of the Rudder Award for Excellence in Teaching, which this year was awarded to Professor David Babby and was awarded posthumously to Professor Sky Donald. I cannot move on without acknowledging the many lives Professor Donald touched before she passed. In honor of her, our class raised over $10,000 for her Memorial Scholarship Fund as a small showing of our love for her and our sadness that future generations of UCLA law students would not be able to benefit from her gifts as a teacher and as a friend. I also want to thank the Office of Career Services for your tireless work launching many of our careers and for planning the off-campus event curiously called On-Campus Interviews, OCI. I'd like to thank the UCLA custodial staff. Thank you, Horace, who's sitting in the back in the shade, and the rest of the custodial staff who care for the overall campus's 12 million square feet, 7 days a week. Yes, I looked that up. For the last 3 years, RASA, the Latino Law Student Association, has hosted a custodial appreciation dinner supported by the generous faculty donations, a tradition we hope will continue. On that note, I'd like to thank Professor Wansuix, last year's Professor of the Year, who generously donated each year to our custodial appreciation dinner. Professor Wansuix, your words on this stage last year inspired me, as you shared that you are the son of Polish immigrants who worked as janitors. Your words reminded me of the conversations I'd have with custodial staff after a long day of classes. Custodians would tell me it was their dream that one day their children would be sitting where we are today. Thank you, Professor Wansuix, for serving as a role model and inspiration. You're somewhere here on that side. There you are. While I'm from Los Angeles, the only time I was near UCLA was when we picked up my mother from her shift as a housekeeper at the Beverly Hills Hotel, not too far away. Let there be no doubt, we are here, immigrants, children of immigrants, in search of better lives, committed to improving this great country, for us, for you, and everyone around us. However, Professor Wansuix is not perfect. He is, after all, a Boston Celtics fan. A fact that you would know if you had his class. He mentions it every couple minutes. I also want to thank campus security. In particular, Keith Bozeman, who seemingly knows the name of all 1,000 students and staff at UCLA and is also sitting back there in the shade. Thank you, Keith, for offering a smile, a fist bump, great conversation, and keeping our school safe every day. Thank you, Kathy Mayorkas, the fearless leader of our public interest program, who after 20 plus years of service to UCLA is retiring. Thank you for providing your kindness and wisdom to generations of public interest students. Collectively, we'd like to thank the admissions office. Without you, none of us would be here. Let's pause for a moment, graduating class. Where were you when you were admitted to UCLA? What did you feel? Now, I don't cry often. I cried in 2000, 2001, 2002 when the Lakers won NBA championships. And I'll definitely cry when I make my first student loan payment. But I cried when Dean Schwartz let me know I was admitted to UCLA. This class is blessed with great geographic diversity. This JD class comes from 34 states and 9 foreign countries, Our 197 LLM students come from 33 different countries. UCLA has provided a home for dreams that have no borders. Regardless of nationality or income, you likely had a parent, guardian, or someone in your life who sacrificed something so you could be here today. Some of the people in your life may have given up on their own dreams so you could cross this stage today. Let's give a round of applause to the parents and people in our lives who sacrificed so we could be here today graduating. That gets a real thought. Personally, I want to thank my wife Sophia, my mother Maria, my brother Steve, Starbucks or Nilo Supply of Caffeine, and the committed career educators of Los Angeles Unified School District, including my teacher from Fairfax High School and fellow Golden Bear, Mr. Sugden, who is here today. Thank you. Now, my greatest fear about law school was a school full of overly competitive gunners. I imagined people refusing to share notes, ripping pages out of books, sabotaging each other's computers. But enough about USC law. UCLA was nothing like that. I had to. If a classmate was sick, you would offer to pick up soup or groceries. If a loved one passed away, you consoled them, offer to take notes, offer to explain what they had missed. You lent an empathetic hand. If someone wasn't going home for the holidays, you invited them into your home. The class of 2017 is also financially generous. You reached the highest participation rate in the history of the class gift campaign. And as a side note, sorry for all the emails and posts. In conclusion, Toni Morrison wrote, "I tell my students, when you get these jobs you have so brilliantly been trained for, if you have some power, then your job is to empower somebody else. I urge you all to continue fighting the good fight. Classmates, it has been an honor to be a part of the class of 2017. Thank you y gracias."